If you have kids, you have grandkids, you have nieces or nephews, this episode is going to be for you. Hey everybody, welcome back to another Wisconsin's Outdoor Explorer podcast. I hope you are having a great day. Winter has finally hit here in central Wisconsin. We've got the cold weather, still don't have the snow, but they are predicting some snow on the way this week. So it's going to be an interesting week to see if we actually finally get a little bit of winter that I've been kind of hoping for all year. So again, they're still kind of disappointing, honestly, but we can't do much about it, so we just have to make the most of it. You know, the older I get, the more I enjoy being outside. I love being able to get away from my desk. My job is primarily a desk job. I do get out and do some video work, but most of my job consists of editing and just sitting at a desk. And for me to get out and get outside and go for a walk or hike or attend an event really means a lot to me at this point in my life. Even though it's winter now, I still try to get out as much as I can. This winter obviously hasn't lived up to what I was hoping it would be, so that we could try some new things out, but the only thing for me right now is the cold kind of gets to me a little bit faster than when I was a teenager. And so that's just a matter of prepping and making sure I'm wearing the right clothes. But either way, I've always liked being outside. I've always liked getting outside. I remember as a kid biking all summer long. I mean, as soon as the sun come up, we were on our bikes as kids running around town. I mean, we lived in a small town, so it was easy to get around. We didn't have to worry about a whole lot of things. And if we weren't riding bikes, I was helping my grandpa bale hay, or I was playing ball or doing whatever I could to be outside. And a lot of it, sometimes it was just because mom wanted us outside. She didn't want us in the house. But, even as I was growing up and gaming systems got more popular, and I did have a few gaming systems, but I wasn't one of these guys that was hooked on them. So I still wanted to get outside, and I really liked that. And that's why it's been important for me to make sure my own kids can get outside and enjoy nature. But the question always comes up is, why is that important? Why should we encourage our kids to get outside? And in this podcast this week, I want to talk about a few of the reasons why I think it's important to get your kids outside and to share that love of outdoors with that next generation. If your kids are like my kids are still younger, but they're growing fast, and as each year goes by, they seem to get busier and busier. I mean, during the school year, they're busy with homework and piano lessons, and we're sneaking in swimming lessons, and they're starting to get involved in sports, which takes up a lot of time, and their lives are busy. And like I think now, like during school, there's not much time for us during the week to get outside, especially in the wintertime, when it's dark out at 5:00. I mean, our lives are, we get home, we eat a meal together, we do homework, and we get a little bit of hour downtime or half an hour of downtime, and everybody's in bed. So definitely during the school year, it's hard to do that during the week. But in the summer, it's a lot easier when it's, light out at 8:00 at night and they don't have school. So it gives us more time, during the evenings to get out and enjoy it. But, and that's why our weekends are so important to us. When we can, we plan events and go places and stuff. And to me, when you throw all that together, their lives are super busy. And I think that makes it even more important that we get our kids outside and away from all that hustle, away from that busy daily life. And what we can teach our kids about being outside is something that they can take with them throughout their lives. This isn't something that, it's a one-off deal. That it's something that every time you get your kid outside, they're going to build upon being out there and learning and doing things. So I want to share a few ideas, a few tips, a few reasons why I think it's important to get your kids outside and to get them out there to enjoy the outdoors. I think sometimes the best education comes from firsthand experience. Now, every kid, every person learns differently. Some learn through reading, watching videos, and others really just need to get their hands dirty and discover things for themselves. And one of the reasons why I like taking my kids hiking is to see how much they take in. I mean, kids really absorb a lot of things when you throw it at them. They're really amazing how much they can grasp in a short amount of time. Whether we're taking a simple trail or we're viewing waterfalls up at Copper Falls, being a part of nature just seems to pique their natural curiosity. I really love how much they, question and inquire things. And once you get that interest sparked, that's when you know you got them, because they start asking questions. They start, wondering about this and that. And they ask a lot of questions a lot of times, and I don't always have the answers. And I think that's important too, to realize that you're out there learning with them. And I think that's kind of creates that little special bond with them. One of the things that I really like when we're hiking trails is these little information markers. When you get to a certain area, there's the plaques where you can read things on that. We always try to stop at those and read those when we can, because it really gives our kids a good lesson about Wisconsin. Usually it's something tied with, it can be about geology or whatever, but it explains to them how Wisconsin has changed throughout the years. So I really think it's important to take a little time, help them if they can't read them to understand what they're looking at, and explain to them what's going on. Because once you pique that interest and start that education with them out there, they're going to want to know more. They're going to want to get more information about what's going on. They'll ask more questions, and you kind of open up this nice communication bridge between the two of you. And that's what I really enjoy about when we take our kids hiking. They ask questions. We're talking all the time, and we're really just taking it all in and getting them thinking about the areas that you're visiting in is just going to get them more excited about the next time that you head out and go to a different place or go to a new place or even go back to the old place. They're going to remember the things that they learned. So educating on a more hands-on level is so important. It gets my kids excited, and I'm sure it's going to get your kids excited about being out there and being hiking and stuff too. It's a great hands-on educational tool. I mean, nothing's better than seeing it and discovering it right there in person. This next one is one of the ones that all parents and anybody with kids deals with, and it's electronics. And I'm happy to say that my wife and I we keep pretty close tabs on our kids' electronic time. They usually don't get any time during the week. During the school week, they're busy enough, and we think it's important that they kind of wind down and do that. And they honestly get very limited time on the weekends. We realize that in today's society, you need to have a good balance. So there is some importance to letting them understand how to use a computer, to use a tablet, or even a phone and apps and things like that. But I mean, again, my kids pick up on that stuff so fast, it just amazes me. I mean, I look at something for a while and can't figure it out, and they pick it up and they do it. But the thing is you got to find that good balance with electronics and getting them away from them. And I think getting them outside is a great way to do that. Whether you're getting your kids out in the backyard to play, or you're cruising the lake, or whatever you're doing, try to leave the electronics behind. Now, I know that's tough. It's tough even for me, because for me, my phone is a tool to capture images, to share experiences, and sometimes my phone is the only camera I have. But I found that it's important to get your pictures in the moment and put it away. I don't sit on it. I don't Facebook. Most of the time I save those pictures and share them with you later. And I think that's important to show them that balance is important. And when they are outside, it's a great time for them to be busy doing something else to keep their mind off of those electronics. So I think as parents or relatives, we can set that great example of, hey, put your phone away and let's go do something together, and make sure you're doing that too. Because if you send them outside and you're outside with them, but you're constantly on social media or doing this, they're going to ask you why. They're going to, why can't I do this? So what you're trying to do, in my opinion, is you're trying to teach them to be in the moment and enjoy what's going on around them. Yeah, it's fun to capture those moments and share them on Snapchat or Facebook or Instagram, but there's also that connection you got to get when you're outside that if you're on your phone, you're going to miss, and they're going to miss. And I think that's the key, is to teach them that by getting away from the electronics, putting the tablets and the phones down, to just be in the moment, that they're going to be surprised and you're going to be surprised at how much they're going to notice and gain. And it kind of goes back to that first one. If you're on a lake or something and you're doing whatever, that they're going to start wondering about this and asking questions about that. So, limit that electronic time. I know it's important. They need to learn that, but give them that time away from the electronics. That's important for kids. They need to get out there. They need to explore. They need to use their imaginations. And what better place to use that imagination than in your backyard, in a park, on a hiking trail. Those are great, great places for all of that. I think one of the more important reasons to get your kids outside is by teaching your kids about the outdoors. It's going to make them better conservationists. And what I mean by that is you're going to teach them to care for the outdoors. You're going to teach them to respect the outdoors. If you hunt with your kids, they're learning about deer management. If you hike with your kids, they learn about trail etiquette, helping others. If you camp with your kids or your family, they're going to learn about leaving an area the way you find it and keeping their footprint small so others can enjoy the same areas that you are enjoying now way down the road. I mean, they'll learn to take care of this state, and in the future they'll teach others how to take care of it as well. And that's really the important thing, because if you think about that, if we don't teach the next generation to care about this state, then what's going to happen to it? What's going to happen to our trails? Who's going to keep working towards making things better and keeping them the way they are and as natural as possible? And the lessons that they learn about that is just going to make them appreciate what we have when they're older too. So share what you know about taking care of the areas and places that you go, and teach them to care for our state. If you see trash on a trail, pick it up. Explain why you're picking it up, and you'll be surprised at how quickly they pick up on that. I mean, even when we go for walks around the house in springtime, you get the trash on the roads, and the first walk of spring, we usually have to take some sort of garbage bag with us because the kids are, hey, there's something, we picked it up. We always get the question of why, and sometimes that's hard to answer and hard to explain to them why, but we do our best to teach them that you've got to respect the area that you're in and take care of it. You'll be surprised that when they're with their friends then, that they're going to use those lessons with them as well. So teaching your kids about taking care of Wisconsin, wherever you live, just taking care of that is going to make them better conservationists in the future. And they're going to teach their kids about that. And then it just keeps going from generation to generation. As we teach our kids, they'll teach their kids, and so on. So that's important, I think, about getting the kids outside and teaching them that. Because if we don't share that with them, then who's going to take care of it when we're not here? So that's something to think about. Make sure you're teaching that stuff to your kids. Again, whether you're deer hunting, whether you're ice fishing, if you're out ice fishing for the day, make sure that you're picking your stuff up so that when you leave, that you leave that footprint small so that they understand, and explain to them why you're doing that. Because again, this is for the future. That's why you're teaching them. That's why you want them to get outdoors. That's why you want them to enjoy being outdoors, so that they can enjoy it with their kids and their family when they're older. All right, this one is probably the easiest one to figure out. It's having fun. Kids love having fun. Who doesn't love having fun, right? So getting your kids outside doesn't always have to be about teaching them. It's about having fun. And there's so many ways that you can have fun. And one of the things that I want to try to accomplish with Wisconsin's Outdoor Explorer is I want to remove that stigma that you're only an outdoor person if you hunt, fish, or hike. Because getting outdoors, in my opinion, is such a broad thing. It can involve a lot of different activities. I mean, it can be as simple as watching a parade, going to your favorite festival, or if it's watching a baseball game, or if you're just sitting next to the lake. It doesn't matter what you're doing as long as you're outside. And if you take your kids to the fair and walk around and see the animals, or you take them to a car show or go see a dog sled race, you're getting your kids out there and showing them how much fun it is to be outside. I mean, once they get that experience, they want to be out there all the time. I mean, we get that. We take our kids to a lot of parades and they enjoy them. And it's a great way for us to be outside, enjoy it. You're disconnected from your electronics and they see things, they ask questions. There's just, it all kind of rolls into one when you're out there having fun with your kids. And again, it's not just about hunting, fishing, and hiking. It's about anything you can do to get outside. I mean, if you've got a sandbox, go build a sandcastle with your kid in your sandbox, or take them to one of the beaches and play in the water with them. And it's just about having fun and enjoying everything that this state really has to offer. And I think that's really the key to this whole thing, is and showing them what an absolutely great place Wisconsin is to live in. Getting your kids outside, it doesn't have to be hard. You don't have to have some elaborate plan to keep them entertained. Just being outside, honestly, is going to take care of that. You know, like I said, it can be as simple as going for a walk with them, asking them about their day, or spending a day at a water park. Just getting them involved and creating those memories is something that you're going to share, years later. And I know this really seems to be focusing on on parents, but it's not. This goes farther than just parents. If you have a niece or a nephew, or if you're a grandparent, there's a lot of ways that you also can take your grandkids and your nieces and nephews and get them outside and share that love of outdoors that you have with them. Just make that effort and show them what Wisconsin has to offer away from their everyday busy lives. It's only going to make that bond between you guys stronger, and your love of the outdoors is something that you guys will share forever. I mean, I have memories as a kid of baling hay with my grandfather that will never go away. Those were some of the greatest summers that I had, was working with him, baling hay and working with his horses. I mean, and we were outside from the time I got up to the time I went to bed, and it was such a fun thing. So again, it doesn't have to be, we need to plan trips to go do this or do that. It can be as simple as just hanging out on the farm with your grandpa, or, going to a parade with an aunt or an uncle. Get the kids out with you, take them with you, show them what a great thing being outside is, and really just make an effort and show them what it's like being one of Wisconsin's outdoor explorers. Thanks again for listening, everybody. I hope you're enjoying the podcast. Make sure you're telling everybody, all your friends, about it. They can listen for free at wisconsinsoutdoorexplorer.com. Let's help spread the word about how great being outside in Wisconsin is, and let's do that together. Again, thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks for listening to the Wisconsin's Outdoor Explorer podcast. For more great information about being an outdoor explorer, visit our website at wisconsinsoutdoorexplorer.com. Be sure to check out the blog page and follow us on social media. And don't forget to subscribe to this podcast wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.